Welcome back, friends. So a few days ago on our YouTube channel, I posted a poll with 3 different options of what video would you like to see next. And by a wide margin, 69% of the votes, bulletproofing our RV roof. So today we're going to do just that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've been wanting to do this since the rig was brand new. Stay tuned. Okay, let me jump right in and show you what we're going to use for this process. I'm basically going, instead of going up there and checking my seals every 6 months, using a whole bunch of self-leveling sealant, I'm just going to Eternabond tape all of my seals up there. I love Eternabond tape. I've used it for years now. Some of the stuff I used 3 years ago up on I've already done my front cap and my rear seal. It's still very pliable. If you wash it, if you wash the grime off, it looks brand new. Yeah, it's just really good stuff, okay? And there's other folks that make it. Eternabond's the OG, so that's what we're going to use today. And I have experience with Eternabond. So what are we going to use? So I'm going to start, we're going to use some 6-inch thick Eternabond tape. Yes, it comes in multiple widths, all right? The original stuff came in a 4-inch size. I'm going to go 6-inch because why not, right? 4-inch might work for you, but 6-inch isn't all that much more expensive. So I'm going 6-inch for all the seals around the vents, the air conditioner, all of that good stuff, all right? Then 2-inch, I've got some 2-inch stuff here. We're going to do that along the side rails. That's probably my most important seal for today, my most important place that I'm going to put this stuff. Those seals get a lot of wear and tear. I think there's always a little flex up there, which you actually want. The hot and the cold, all of that good stuff has those seals moving around. So the 2-inch will be for the sides, just right above the gutter. I'll show you that in just a minute. But first, we're going to clean it with the Eternabond cleaner. And by the way, Eternabond does not sponsor this. They have nothing to do with this video. They don't even know I'm making it. I did not get this stuff for free. I paid for all of this stuff. This is just good stuff, all right? So EternaClean, I have experience with this. It works great. I think it's mostly acetone. I think that's what it mostly is. And then EternaPrime. Now, I'm not 100% sure you really need the primer on this project, but they sell it for a reason. I've had good experience the last time I used it. It does make it a little tacky. I'm going to use it for this because this is a very important area to put these Eternabond tape. So let's get started. We're going to clean it up first, and then I'm going to do the side rails right above the gutter to start. All right, guys, got you on the GoPro. I hope you can see fairly well here. The first thing I'm going to do is I just don't have time to wash my roof. Ideally, I would do that, but you really don't need to with this tape. It's such such a good stuff. And you can see here, I don't know if you can see that right there, but I've got some stuff starting to peel. It's just starting to get, it's just time. You know what I mean? It's just time. And you can see it's pretty dirty too. I hope you can see that. But yeah, let's get it started. I'm going to move this GoPro. Okay, maybe that's better. All right, so it's literally as simple as spray it on, wipe it off, and you can see there's a huge difference in the color of that seal right there. You can see there to there. So it's definitely important to wash it. Prep is always king when you're doing something like this, for sure. All right, so we're just going to go down and do the whole side rail just like that, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, friends, we've got the side cleaned with the Eternabond cleaner. Now we're going to go along and we're going to spray the primer here. Now the instructions with the primer: spray it on, let it become tacky, and then apply the tape. It's kind of a humid day, so we'll see how long that takes, but we're just going to give it the field test to see if it's ready. So I'm just going to go along. I'm only going to do about 2 feet at a time. Word of advice: make sure when you place this, that's where you want it. Because I'm going to tell you something, it is not going to come back up. If you do get it back up, it's probably going to tear something up. So just a word of advice there. So that's why I'm only going to do about 2 feet at a time. I'm going to try to catch the top lip here of this piece right here. This is just a a piece that slides in and out. If I need to get into this area, which hopefully I will never need to do that, at least for a very, very long time, I can come in from the bottom and flip it up. So I should be fine, but I'm going to try to get about a third of the way down on this insert right here, all the way down to my ladder. So I'm going to spray it, get that out of the way, and I'm going to wait till it's a little actually, yeah, it's already tacky. So let's go ahead and put a piece of tape on. I got to get this tape ready to rock. And to do that, let me go ahead and go in here. See, they've got a piece of tape taping the tape. All right, of course they would. All right, now, so word of advice too, you definitely want this to come along with you to start. So I got to get that started. Really want that to come out. Okay, now we should be good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start her along here, and I'm going to try to keep this obviously on top of the roof so it doesn't fall off. But I'm just going to feed it along nice and slow. All right, so let's get started on that, and I'll show you how it looks in just a second. Okay friends, got this side all buttoned up, and I am a function over form guy, so I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried how this would look. I was still gonna do it because it's a great thing to do. But let me tell you something. If you come down here and you look at it from the ground where you're always gonna be, looks factory. I'm super happy with that. I was worried it was gonna look not so great, but like I said, if you're down here on the ground, looks like a factory job. Looks like there's something they should always do. All right, let's do the other side. All right friends, here's the second side all buttoned up, and props to Eternabond. I've got a 28-foot box and I ordered 50 feet, so your math would tell you that would be what, about 6 feet short. They actually sent me about 60 feet in the 50-foot roll. So I'm super appreciative of that. I was actually going to cut some from my 6-inch roll if I needed it, but they actually included about 10 extra feet. So that's awesome. Thanks, Eternabond. Let's get to the top and start working on those seals. Okay friends, so just in case you're not entirely clear about what we're doing on the top of the rig here, every single opening on the top of the rig, whether it's a vent, a skylight, or a vent over here, you can't really see that right now, but the air conditioner, your antenna, your refrigerator vent, all of that has a nice big wide seam of self-leveling sealant. And from time to time, at least once every 6 months or so, you need to come up here and check this stuff. And a lot of times you're going to have to do some little patches here and there. We did a video about this about a year ago. Well, it's about that time for me that I'm going to come. You can see here, you can't see it terribly well, but you can see that's starting to come detached from the actual TPO roof. So what I'm going to have to do, or my preference, is to go ahead and just Eternabond tape all of this sealant. Where we usually would be sealant, we're going to replace with Eternabond tape, and I shouldn't have to deal with this again for years. All right, that's how long the Eternabond tape will last. It'll actually last a good while longer than just a few years. I mean, we're talking 5 or 6 years at least. Okay, so so that's what I'm going to do. Last year my seals were nice and pliable. They're still pliable. You can kind of see they're coming back to shape there. But I want to do this before I have any issues. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So We're doing this before we have any issues. I don't want to squirt any more self-leveling sealant up here. I'm just going to do the tape. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing, just like on the sides of the rig, I've got to wipe this thing down and clean it. And it doesn't have to become spotless. All right, you can see where some streaks of grime are coming off. This Eternabond tape is going to be tacky enough and durable enough to deal with some of this grime, okay? You just need to get the big stuff off. We don't want anything, a major thick layer of grime there that will detach from the TPO roof. We want the Eternabond tape obviously attaching to the roof and the sealant, okay? So we're gonna take the Eternabond tape all the way up here to this galvanized sheet right here, and that should keep us from leaking. What we don't want to do is make any areas that are going to hold water. Although the Eternabond tape will deal with that easily, I still would like for the water to run off. I don't want water to sit anywhere. So that's the two things I'm worried about, making sure that I have a big enough area, because 6 inches is going to be something like this. If you're over here, can't really see it, but I'm going to make sure a good swath is clean, and then I'm going to make sure I tack it up close to this piece of galvanized without making places to puddle. Okay friends, so just a little time-saving tip. I have 3 of these vents and I'll need 4 sides to each, so I'm going to go ahead and just pre-measure the first one, and then I'll cut 12 equal strips out of the roll. So yeah, let's get started on that. Okay, so the 6-inch stuff that we've got up here is going to be a little bit quirkier to deal with than the small 2-inch stuff, just keeping all of the wrinkles out of it as you lie it down. Now, I know what you're asking, hey, those square vents will be easy, but what about these little circle vents here? Well, it's pretty simple. Just bring yourself a Sharpie up top, make yourself a half circle big enough to fit around. We'll cut it out, and that's how we'll do the round vents here. I'm going to leave one of my black tank vent. I'm actually going to leave alone. We've got a nice little upgraded vent for that one coming up soon in another video, so I'm going to leave that one alone. I don't want to put this tape on that and then have to get through it to try to remove that vent, because that will be rough. This stuff is made to last. So let's get started. Okay, another tip, when you are doing you're cutting around these circle vents here, I'm about to cut the half moon here, take it a little past the halfway point, that way the other one will overlap with it. You kind of see what I'm saying here. This one is overlapping here, and I cut them extra deep so they would go a little past halfway. And another piece of advice, I'm just full of it today, huh? So these little pieces that we cut out to fit around there, keep these. You wouldn't believe how often you get a little pinhole in your roof. Well, I shouldn't say it's often, but if you got a pinhole in your roof, this will be more than enough to take care of it. So keep this stuff close by in a toolbox or in your pass-through storage. It could come in handy, these little scraps.
You just don't listen to this boy and his fancy tape. It's all you need right here.
Okay, friends. Well, I think you get the gist of it now. Here is some finished product from the front. Basically, anywhere there's lap sealant, I replaced it with a Eternabond tape. And let me tell you, it feels good to do it. Took about 3 hours, maybe a little bit less if you're not filming a YouTube video. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I'm not instructing anyone to do this. This is what I'm doing to my rig, but I'm sure glad to have it done. Okay friends, well that about wraps it up. I've got all of my seals done with a Eternabond tape, and I'm happy that they are finished. It is hot, and I'm ready to go inside and get a cold drink. But I hope this was useful, and if you find this useful, please share it. It helps the channel tremendously when you guys do that. It helps us gain subscribers, and we're able to do things like what we have coming up. So coming up, we're going to be doing a tire pressure monitor unboxing and review. We've got a lot of stuff from our partner over at Lippert Components. We've got several videos to do with them, and that should be a lot of fun. So a lot of good things coming down the pipe. I hope you would consider subscribing. Have a good one.
God, that bone. Oh, finally. God, hey.